Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the iHeartRadio network every Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we also want to say we're coming to you live from downtown Sacramento, the new Golden One Center. It is a beautiful place. You talk about putting money into a new stadium. I think they've done it right thanks to Mayor Kevin Johnson. And there was not too long ago, Big C, that the Kings were talking about going to the state of Washington up in Seattle, also Anaheim, where they played the Lakers last night. Also, I want to say thank you to our worldwide audience, and also thank you, Big C, because based on the voting that you told me about, Big C, that Big C Sports is now the hottest show in the universe. We're ranked number 1 in the universe, Big C, so all your interscholastic friends are following us, and we hope to no hanging chads with that vote, Big C. Also, I want to say thank you to you good old boys in Latin America, so bienvenidos to you. Thank you so much for listening to Charlton and Big C Sports, as well as you good old boys in London, England, as well as Paris, France, and of course, the great country of Canada. And we had Canada doing their thing last night with the Blue Jays getting their first win of the playoff season, Big C, over the Orioles. And also we have another game happening tonight with the Giants and the Mets. But Big C, we know we love the United States, but how you good old boys doing down south, Big C?
Charlton, I don't know how I'm doing. I feel like I just got through running a 100-meter race going upstairs. I might have to get rid of this 2-story house for a double wide trailer and put it out there.
Hey, nothing.
All I do is walk out on the porch.
Hey, nothing wrong with a double wide trailer, Big C. I think they got them on sale all over the South. And also, speaking of being things on sale all over the South, this segment is also sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the roller. When you go by and test drive one, tell them that Charlton and Big C sent you. And we've always talked about this, Big C. Yours is the one with the mud, not just all over the outside of the rims, Big C, but the carpet too, Big C. Do you guys have vacuum cleaners?
That builds character. You gotta understand what character is. You want to be a unique individual in this world, you gotta do things outside the box. And I'm not gonna conform to what everybody else does, driving through the car wash.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It'll rain eventually, put it that way.
Hey, there was a movie by the great Arnold Schwarzenegger, Big C. It was called Predator. And he was in the movie. He also had this alien from outer space. You know, they listened to Charlton and Big C Sports too. But Carl Weathers was also in there, and they had this Native American guy called Billy. And they always put mud all over the body so the alien couldn't see him. But they had no idea the alien was using a laser beam, Big C. So, are you hiding from with the laser beam when you go out and chase those wild boars, Big C?
We got worldwide and galaxy-wide listeners, Charlton. We have people on the Millennium Falcon, the Enterprise, everywhere. Listen to it because we're number 1 in the galaxy. So, you know, we got to protect ourselves from, you know, people plagiarizing on us and everything.
I definitely understand that. And speaking of plagiarizing, people are you know, when you look at baseball, the way it started last night, Big C, people are saying that the manager made a mistake. You know, with Baltimore not putting in their closer against Toronto.
Show Walter.
Yeah, but those good old boys, how can you always blame the manager? He was going with a guy that he could trust, Big C. Your thoughts on that?
Well, you know, it's always, we talk about this with people in our business, even ourselves, Charlton.
Yeah.
About how you're going to second guess a guy who's paid to do what he does. Okay?
Yeah.
Buck Showalter's been around Major League Baseball for many, many years.
Yeah.
You know, with Texas Rangers, New York Yankees, and he's been around. And so he's an expert in what he does. He's even been a broadcaster.
Yeah.
So, you know, you got these naysayers second guessing, man. And it's become so prevalent, Charlton, here in this new millennium, where every broadcaster and announcer knows more than a coach.
Yeah.
But none of them are brave enough to coach.
Yeah.
That's the interesting thing about it. Just say that his second guess, you know, Showalter.
Yeah.
Let one of those reporters go stand in the box and face a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Okay, let's see how fast his knees buckle and he bails out.
Hey, you think that's tough? You think that's tough, Big C? Have one of those reporters ride with you when you're driving 97 through the woods, Big C. That's even more dangerous.
That's a fastball, Charlton.
That's a fastball, Big C. But yeah, I do think you're right. You know, you can't always. It's great being the Monday morning quarterback. It's great being the Monday morning manager because we're not. You know, our jobs are not on the line based on what happens in that game or not. But another great game tonight. And again, congratulations to Toronto.
One mention on that, Charlton. Think about how much a genius he would have been.
Oh, yeah.
The decision that it worked out. If he had gone up there and struck out the side and not given up that walk-off home run. Charlton, whoa, what a great managerial decision. You know, he's got guts to stick with it. It's been like Jack Del Rio when he went for two.
Oh, yeah.
With the Saints, with the Raiders. you know, he's a gunslinger. You know, taking chances like that. He came to win. Buck Showalter went in Toronto last night to win the game. He didn't go in there to lose because in these playoff series, to lose a road game is almost certain death in the series.
Oh, definitely.
His intentions and his players' intentions were to win the game, Charles.
Oh, yeah, and he's won so many games, Big C. He doesn't have to explain himself because, you know, the way the sports is designed, I know a lot of people don't know this, Big C, but only one team's going to win. You know, at some point in time, they're going to have one trophy at the end of this, and everybody's going to be second-guessed, Big C. But I tell you, tonight, when you think about baseball, and there's another great game coming up, you talk about the San Francisco Giants. They're back on the East Coast in your neck of the wood playing the New York Mets. And you have the ace, Madison Bumgarner, getting to work for the Giants. He's trying to get his groove on tonight at 5 o'clock, also against Noah Syndergaard. Now, when you think about the Giants, I know I'm out here on the West Coast, but the last few even years they've won. I think the key for the Giants, if the Giants can win, you know, this game tonight, in the wild card game again in New York, if they at least get a split in their first two games in Chicago on Friday, that's if they win. You know, the Mets could win also. But if that happens, I'm telling you, Saturday, in perspective, that the National League Division Series, the Giants have the pitching, they have the hitting, they definitely have the manager in Bochy to go back to the World Series, Big C. But the Mets, I know they have a great pitcher on the mound, too. They also have their side of the story. But I just want to ask you, you've seen great pitching for 40 years, Big C. Your thoughts on who has the better chance to get it going? If they score early, the Giants have a chance to win this easily, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Syndergaard for the Mets, Charlton, has had a marvelous career against the Dodgers. He's been in control when he's played them. But, you know, his weak spot is what the Giants are going to have to take advantage of in this short series.
Yeah.
Is that he gives up a lot of walks.
Yeah. Stolen bases, Big C. A lot of stolen bases. I think 43 so far.
He's given up 43 stolen bases this year.
Yeah.
Now, that means he has a slow delivery to home plate, and his mechanics are bad at that point.
Yeah.
So the Dodgers, not the Dodgers, I'm stuck on the Dodgers.
You love the Dodgers. Hey, we know who you're betting on, Big C. You can save that for later. Big C got some money later on the team in blue. Go right ahead, Big C and Tommy Lasorda.
The Giants play small ball.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they do. They play small ball. And if they get players on, they plan on running.
Yeah.
You know, Baumgartner can pitch against anybody. He's a beast.
Oh, yeah.
He's an animal when he's on the mound. He's very intimidating. And he has that awkward delivery of his balls, Charlton, where they come way from outside. And, you know, he reminds me of a right-handed Bert Blyleven.
Yeah.
You know, when he played with the Chicago Cubs back in the early 70s.
Yeah.
With the huge curveball that, you know, used to buckle a lot of knees.
Yeah.
But he can do that same thing as a lefty. So this is a game of who is going to get on base. You know, the Mets should be favored because they're at home.
Yeah.
But the Giants, this is the time of year when they're playing in October.
Well, I'll tell you, you talk about baseball. Remember that movie Field of Dreams by Kevin Costner? And he built that baseball stadium in the cornfields. And, you know, I recall being a little boy, and everybody loves playing the game of baseball. And if you have the chance with your grandparent or a young kid, go out and watch the game if you can afford it, Big C. But I know guys like you get in for free, so you have no idea what it costs to go to a game. You and Donald Trump guys, you guys get preferential treatment. But baseball, the playoffs is the time of year that you can really fall in love with the game of baseball. But before we get into this tonight, I just want you to give a little bit of history on what happened with the Negro Leagues, because a lot of African Americans will be starting in these Major League Baseballs, but they won't get the acknowledgement by the networks. Give it just a few minutes, Big C, on how the Major League Baseball disbanded the Negro Leagues, and now we have this great game, but the African Americans have to participate, and they're really about 8% of the league, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, you know, the African Americans get no appreciation as far as their structure and founding of Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
When you think about the competitiveness of the Negro League, the Major League teams used to play them, Charlton, after the World Series.
Yeah.
In exhibition games. And they would get dominated. The last time that they ever played, the Negro League All-Stars dominated the Yankees in a 7-game series, 4-1.
Yeah.
They disbanded from playing them after that point. But, you know, they called the integration of baseball, bringing in Jackie Robinson. It wasn't about integration of baseball. It was about eliminating the Negro Leagues. Because, you know, if you take away the feeder crop, then you don't have anything to fill it in the end. You take away all the young talent, and that's what's happened.
Yeah.
But, you know, there should always be a tribute, not to just Jackie Robinson, but to the Negro Leagues for the sacrifice of a league to expand Major League Baseball. You can't just limit it to one individual, because so many African Americans made strides to help make Major League Baseball
to make it great. Yeah.
Over those decades, Charlton. So, it's a great tribute to Jackie, but give a tribute to the Negro League. You destroyed it, but at least let people know that they existed, Charlton.
That's true, Big C. And speaking of existence, this segment is also sponsored by your Northern California lottery dealers. And in fact, you can buy the Powerball tonight. It's Wednesday. In fact, we've already won it on Charlton Big C Sports, Big C, which is just about $80 million. Not enough to get you out of your overalls, Big C, but I'll take the $80 million. We'll split it. Well, think about the double wide that Big C is going to buy is the one that has mud all over it, Big C. Something about you good old boys and your mud. I think I'm going to learn how to it's a good way to season food, Big C, based on that steak you barbecued for me back in the day when I came to visit you. So, but also I want to bring up something too, because I'm so excited. This is like a smorgasbord for sports. We have Major League Baseball starting up. With football is in the week number 4 now. We just had some NBA basketball start off last night. But I would be remiss if I didn't bring up some of the topics of things that are going on. The commissioner, and it all goes back to Colin Kaepernick, how they want everyone to maybe stand in unity, Big C, so for the national anthem. But I just got to say this too, because we're not an ignorant sports program. We're broadcast all over the universe, so we have to tell people the truth. There's this thing about when the NBA came out, the Sacramento Kings last night, they did a show of unity where they all locked arms, kind of like what the Seattle Seahawks did, and several other sports teams are doing this too. And Adam Silver wants them to do that, and that's great. But for the people who are saying they're tired of seeing this type of intelligent protest, Big C, and not acknowledging the national anthem, I just want people to understand that what they're talking about are the results of the criminal justice system. And I got to say this again, the United States accounts for about 5% of the world's population. Just 5%. And it's actually 2014, over 2 million people were incarcerated in the United States by the criminal justice system. And of those 2 million people in 2014, 40%, that's 40% were black males, the same kind of black men that you see celebrating on these football and basketball and baseball stadiums, Big C. So that's what the protest is about, because when young black men are incarcerated, they're incarcerated for the same crimes that the white counterparts are incarcerated for, Big C. And I think that's what people are talking about. Most of the judges that put down the sentences, Big C, they happen to be Caucasian. And that's what we're trying to say. So you've been around the block so long, Big C. This is not about protest in America. We love America. But it's so wrong when African Americans make up, in 2014 alone, just black men, 40% of all people that were incarcerated for the same thing that their white counterparts do. Does that make any sense why people are having this silent protest, Big C?
Well, Charlton, the true form of appreciation from me would be all of these reporters who are talking about the negativity of what Colin Kaepernick and other athletes are doing.
Yeah.
I would love for them to go out and quote the second verse of the original national anthem.
Yeah.
Written by Francis Scott Key.
Yeah.
A slave owner who despised slaves.
Yeah.
I would love for them to open up Wikipedia or anything, read the second verse, put it in their article, quote it on television verbatim.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about racism, it exists there, Charlton.
Yeah.
In the national anthem, but they omitted it. They said, well, we can't say that now.
Yeah.
You got to tell the whole story to tell the truth.
Yeah.
You can't take excerpts to make it reality.
And see,
reality is the whole story, Charlton.
Yeah.
And it's like, why is it that all of these white reporters out there, Charlton, can tell black athletes
how to act,
how they should behave?
Yeah, how to act and how to think.
I still haven't understood that in my entire life, as a child, even as an old grizzly man now.
Yeah.
How can you tell me how I behave if you're not paying my bills?
Yeah. And
you're not taking care of my family.
Yeah.
You're not providing equal opportunity in America for me. This is the boundaries of racism, Charlton.
Yeah.
Where you're trying to control another ethnicity.
Yeah.
When you think about how this country was formed, they say America, the home of the free, the home of the brave.
Yeah.
America was stolen.
Yeah.
If we want to be honest about
After Native Americans.
From the Indians.
Yeah.
And they've been put on reservations all of their land. People are saying this is our land. You came here as indentured servants.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody in America just about came here unwillingly.
Yeah.
Blacks came here unwillingly. A lot of Italians and Irish came here unwilling, looking for a better start. But when you talk about this is our country, this is a country of people that were forced into population in America. No one talks about the rightful owners of America. The Native Americans, even the Mexicans, they own the West Coast. They were run out of there down to Mexico.
And see, when you think about that,
talk about fairness in America. Let's be fair. But to be fair, Charlton, you have to be honest to start with that.
And you know what, Big C? Again, the thing about sports is it's a great way to have this conversation, and most people won't have it. Charlton and Big C will, because we're intergalactic on our radio program with the iHeart Radio Network, which is the #1 media company.
One other thing on that, honestly, Charlton. Well, you know, this is a sports program. Let's look at a game this past week. The Cleveland Browns. Okay, running back fumbles the ball. This game was officiated by the first female official in the NFL. Okay. She was the one that said that the Redskins recovered the football, even though the Browns player was standing there in the air with it in his hand. She said that. But the NFL doubled down on this situation to protect her. Not to be honest. They doubled down to protect her because, and I'm not bashing women, but she got it wrong, the NFL got it wrong. You're going to cost players and coaches their jobs by not doing a proper job. Call yourself being dishonest and protecting somebody. If you're not going to use replay, throw it out. If you're not going to be honest, don't say anything at all.
I understand that, Big C. And one more thing I want to bring up too, as we get into some of the NBA, when you want to talk about real dialogue, sometimes it's painful, but if we can't do it in the sports business, we can't do it anywhere. We can't do it in the church, because churches are also segregated, Big C. We all praise Jesus, but we all go to the one that looks just like the one we think he looks like. But I just got to bring up this last point when we talk about players locking arms and showing unity. And it's not that they're disrespecting the American flag. Just think about it this way. Most of the stadiums that players will go into are corporate-sponsored stadiums. Most of all the advertising that you're going to see that plays, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, track and field, hockey, soccer, tennis, anything, they're all sponsored by corporations. But you got to understand this point for anyone who's upset at an intelligent African-American protesting. You got to understand this point here, that I was always disturbed because I'm well-read, Big C. I read a lot. But the fact is, multi-billion-dollar companies in the United States of America, they profit by locking up black kids, because the prison industrial complex that Eisenhower wonders about, it locks up more black kids because there's more money in locking up kids in prison than there is in creating jobs or college, Big C. So when they're protesting, that's what they're protesting. And I want to get onto this one more story about protesting. Okay, I think it's so valuable. When you look at the University of North Carolina radio station, they're not going to broadcast East Carolina football coming up because of the reaction last week to protest that was staged when members walked onto the stadium, members of the school, and they didn't want.
So the school band, Charles.
The band, but think about this. It was a peaceful protest. Wells Fargo Bank has been sued by the Attorney General of all 50 states for predatory loans, foreclosing on people illegally, illegal foreclosures. They've also just been reprimanded again by stealing millions of dollars by creating fake accounts for individuals. Who's protesting Wells Fargo Bank, Big C? These radio stations are not. You still see them on TV. They still are endorsing stadiums around the country, and they've stolen money from American citizens. That means grandparents and parents and kids and pensions. Who's protesting them, and is that unpatriotic, Big C? Your thoughts before we get into the NBA.
It's totally unpatriotic, Charlton, when you think about the double standard. It's okay to commit a white-collar crime. You don't do any time. You don't go to prison. They say you don't harm anybody. You just destroy lives and families. You don't harm anybody physically, but you put people out on the street. You make them homeless. And this TV station in Carolina.
It's a radio station.
This is an ESPN affiliate. And they're not going to broadcast the game because student athletes, this goes back to the Nebraska Cornhusker football team, Charlton, where the Board of Regents wanted to kick the kids out of school. The governor wanted to come in and talk to them about taking a stance on their beliefs. You cannot believe anything as an individual when you're a young, developing mind. It's like telling a child, go sit in the closet, and we'll never even say anything about it. And so it's totally wrong. You know, I listen to a lot of the things that we talk about on air, Charlton. And I'm covered, you know, and I'm amazed by it. But, you know, I heard some stuff on radio last night, television. And I was impressed by it for once. Mark Jones of ESPN and Stan Van Gundy.
He's excellent. Mark Jones is excellent.
You know, they spoke about domestic violence and sexual abuse during women. Something that you brought up months ago, Charles.
Yeah.
And you've written on it, and you've been steadfast. And I appreciate your belief and our belief in that stance that women should be protected.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, ESPN, through their consistent plagiarism of us, they bring it up.
Yeah.
But it was a one-night thing. Will they continue it like you have, Charlton?
Yeah.
Protect our women. Do not tolerate this. Talking about the Stanford swimmer who can rape a woman and gets off in 3 months.
And he's Caucasian. Only because he's Caucasian, yeah.
So, when we talk about the unfairness, white Americans commit heinous crimes, and they get off.
Yeah.
I look at this 14-year-old kid in Carolina last week who went and shot his dad, went into the school, shot up kids, killed a 6-year-old boy. It's almost like there has to be something wrong at home. What's wrong with it? We're going to have to do a psychological evaluation. The little punk's a criminal.
Yeah.
That's all he is.
Yeah.
He's a criminal. Don't treat him with kid gloves.
Yeah.
Treat him like what he is. He had no respect for human life, regardless. His dad, an innocent child, just like in Newtown, innocent children. At what point will the NRA wake up and say enough is enough? The Republican Party needs to realize what happens if that happens to them.
They don't care, Big C, because there's a lot of money in that business. But as we get into this world of sports, I just want people to realize, don't be a dumb person. I know some people like being dumb because they don't have to think, Big C. But I tell you, there's nothing wrong with being well-read and reading and understanding when you're going to say that somebody did something wrong. At least know some history, okay? And so that's important as we get into these sports games. And you're going to hear more about this as the NBA season starts, because about 85% of that league is African-American. Just last night we had some games kick off last night. Great for the Golden State Warriors here in Oakland, California. They beat the Clippers 120-75. I know it's kind of an exhibition preseason game, but Klay Thompson still made 6 of 9 three-point attempts. He had 30 points, and Durant added 21 for Golden State. Big C, they led this game 71-33 at halftime. I think Doc Rivers has a lot of work cut out for him with the Clippers. The Clippers are a good team, but I don't think they made an effort last night. The Houston Rockets beat the Knicks 130-103. James Harden, the Matador defense guy that you like, Big C, he doesn't play defense, but he still had 28 points in that game, and he had 11 assists. Ryan Anderson hit 7 of 13 three-point baskets. It was a Heat over the Wizards, 106-95, and the 76ers over the Celtics, 92-89. I just want to get your thoughts on what we can expect with the NBA coming up. There's so many people that signed these 2-year contracts, Big C. I think we're going to see some players play really hard, because there's going to be even more money, Big C, as we get into the next 2 years. Your thoughts on what team do you like so far?
Well, Charlton, just overall, the 2-year contracts mean improvement of play throughout the league.
Yeah.
The players are not stuck under 5, 6, 7-year contracts.
Yeah.
They're going to play their best. They're going to play their heart out there. And that drives teams to have championship caliber performances night after night.
Yeah.
What we're looking at really the same run. We got San Antonio, probably the second best team in the West.
Yeah.
You got Golden State. They have to be beaten in the West. They won 73 last year. I don't know if they'll get 73, but 70 is a good number.
Yeah, 70 is a good number. They'll take 70. I wish you would pay attention to 70 when you're driving that Escalade, Big C. No need in driving faster than 70, okay? Mud's flying all over the place. And also, go ahead, Big C. You think about... go ahead.
You got to look at the East. The Philadelphia Eagles are hoping to have some promise this year. They got Joel Embiid for the first time in 3 years as a player.
Yeah.
But they lost Simmons, the number 1 draft pick overall. So, it's a team that's in constant up and down. But, if they can ever get all those bodies healthy, they're going to have a solid organization. Boston should be much improved. We know what Cleveland's going to be. New York, middle of the road, Charlton. Yeah,
well, also, speaking of that, Big C, I want to say that this segment is sponsored by United Labor Life Insurance, guaranteed $100,000 life insurance. We are endorsed by the American Cancer Society and the American Heart Association. We also work with all of the unions in the United States under the AFL-CIO, and we're looking to hire over 1,000 licensed insurance brokers to go to work. Tweet out the Charlton and Big C Sports on the iHeart Radio Network, the #1 media network in the United States, with the hottest sports show in the universe, Big C, with the Charlton and Big C Sports. I also want to touch a little bit on college basketball, because that's starting up too pretty soon. Now, your good old friends down south, Big C, Rick Pitino, they had this issue with women that they paid for indiscretions, Big C, for their college athletes. And Rick Pitino says in the Associated Press that the self-imposed sanctions were enough He thinks they punish themselves enough for things that he did not even know about, Big C. Does that make any sense? I'm going to punish myself for something I didn't even know about, Big C. Your thoughts on Rick Pitino?
Well, these sanctions come from the NCAA. They already paid for the entertainment.
Yeah.
So that was enough money going out of the program to put out for entertainment.
Yeah.
So, these teams are coming in with this self-imposed sanctions on themselves. Let's go back to the days of SMU with the death penalty in college football. Why is every other school that has done worse than SMU gotten a pass?
Yeah.
That's what I don't understand. They impose death penalty. What schools do now on a regular basis, Ohio State should have got the death penalty under Tim Tressel.
Yeah.
With the things that were going on there.
Yeah.
Florida State under Bobby Bowden should have got the death penalty based on the things, the allegations at Auburn during time. They should have gotten the death penalty when Cam Newton was there, when they talked about the alleged payment to his family. Yeah. So, there's unfairness even in the NCAA. And now you're allowing schools to police themselves, put in these self-imposed sanctions. Yeah. Look at Mississippi last year during the draft, the NFL draft. Yeah. When, you had Laramie Tunsil off the tackle talking about sending tweets that he needed to have power bills paid for whoever. Yeah. Who to talk to in the school. So, is the NCAA the real policeman of the NCAA? Yeah. Or are they just looking at certain schools saying we'll make these turn a blind eye on everybody else? Well,
we know they turn a blind eye, Big C, but that's part of the Good Old Boy Network. And actually, when you think about it too, another thing I want to say after this spot, this segment is also sponsored by One Life America. Life insurance for all Americans with final expense. We're the leaders in the country when it comes to final expense. Tweet out to Charlton and Big C Sports. We're also trying to put 1,000 insurance brokers to work. Unlike Donald Trump, we are trying to build walls, and we're trying to actually build walls for employment, Big C, not lock people out of the country, Big C. I would just want to make that sure. So also, there's another thing that happened in the world of sports, and I don't know what it is, but this is also by the Associated Press. This is down in your neck of the woods, Big C, so please don't get offended when I start telling your friends. Okay, Big C? But at the University of Alabama, that football power that you guys love so much, Big C? Yeah, that's them, Big C. Tuscaloosa, Alabama, they paid former defensive line coach Bo Davis nearly $317,000 months after his resignation amid investigation into the NCAA recruiting violations, right? They're saying that Alabama has some recruiting violations. This guy resigned, but they paid him months later over $300,000. And I just want to know, why would they still pay a guy that resigned, Big C, if that makes any sense, months after the fact? Yeah.
To give somebody a thank you package, we don't want anybody to go away empty-handed and have a closed mouth, all right?
Well, what happened when back in the days they would just give somebody some moonshine and a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken? Now you get $300,000. That's like winning the lotto, Big C.
Well, we took care of your we brought in Lane Kiffin.
Oh, yeah.
And we
Steve Sarkisian. Yeah.
Help thank his former employer. So, we're very generous down here. We're giving people.
Well, I tell you, Lynn Swan thought he was dyslexic because when they scheduled that Alabama game, he was talking about they're going to go experience some Southern hospitality, but what he experienced was Southern hostility, Big C. So that's what had Lynn Swan all of a sudden, Big C. But also in the world of sports, I just love this time of year, Big C, and everybody's getting ready for baseball tonight. And I just want to get your thoughts again on whether it's college football or NFL football or Major League Baseball, NBA basketball. It's all such a great sport. And this social stance, I hope that everybody can understand that all lives matter. And again, I'm so proud of some of my white brethren because they were a little bit, slow in coming to the table. But they're also starting to talk about the injustice that they want to see overcome. They want to be like the Dr. King and also former President Lyndon Baines Johnson, who issued the Kerner Report. They want to see equality for women. They want to see equality for men. And Charlton Big C Sports, we are an anti-discrimination station, but we will call you out if you're doing wrong. I don't care if you're Nick Saban. I don't care who you are. If you're doing wrong, call us out. If we're doing wrong, call us out. We're not perfect. We might make mistakes too. Tweet out to us. Let us know on Charlton and Big C Sports. I just want to make sure we keep our women safe. No domestic violence. There's no reason ever to put your hand on a woman. And if it happens, you got to call 911, even if it's your best friend, because friends don't let friends drive drunk. and you definitely don't let them beat up on women, Big C. Your thoughts on how we can bring our country together with this social awareness that we have, Big C. Go right ahead, sir.
Well, Charlton, all the way through everything, through life, through sports, silence is tolerance. Okay?
Yeah.
That's what it is. Silence is tolerance. It means it's okay with you.
Yeah.
So what if they come to your house? What if they come to your
Go ahead, speak up, Big C. I'm having a hard time hearing you with your signal, Big C.
What if they come to your house? What if they come to your sporting event?
Yeah.
Silence is tolerance. We cannot have silence in America.
Yeah.
We have to speak up. We have to be people. Just because some reporter tells you something wrong because he does not agree with you,
Yeah.
you should not be silenced, Charlton.
Yeah.
You should go out and still keep the path that you started. You know, because show me the expert in the world who has all the knowledge. It's been a long time since JC showed up.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since he showed up. So when we got all these other people and naysayers against other cultures, other races, and other beliefs, Charlton, that's the true racism, whether it's in sports, whether it's in society.
Yeah.
If you don't agree with somebody, you don't have to speak negative about their situation. Just don't address it at all.
Yeah.
But if there's some violence going on against a woman, against another culture, against other people, then you have the right to speak.
Yeah.
And those who oppose you speaking, Charlton, are the true racists
Well, Big
that
C.
are out there because
Yeah.
they're agreeing with what's going on.
Yeah.
They're the quiet mouth.
Yeah.
Because they're saying it's acceptable because you're not doing it to me. But they're not humanized, Charlton.
Yeah.
You have to respect all humans.
Yeah, I agree,
That's
Big
what
C.
you have to do.
Very much so. And this final segment is sponsored by BeneathThisWingsFoundation.org and CYNN Entertainment when it comes to promotions. Cynthia Evans, she's the best in Northern California. I also want to congratulate the LA Sparks, and they beat the Chicago Sky 95-75. They advanced to play the Minnesota Lynx in the WNBA championship. So, Big C, and the final thing I just want to get across, I really want to say, you know, in the world of golf, we just said goodbye yesterday to the great Arnold Palmer. Jack Nicklaus was speaking during the memorial service on Tuesday, and we know that Palmer passed away at the age of 87. I just think he was an excellent ambassador for the world of golf, and he was also someone who was an egalitarian. He tried to open the door for African Americans when the good old boy South golfers, in fact, worldwide, or at least in the United States, they had so much enmity toward black Americans, they would not allow many black Americans to play the game of golf. But Palmer took a lot of criticism from the good old boys, but it did not stop Palmer from doing the right thing, and that's what I hope our white brethren in media can see. There are a lot of white men who have this, they have the consciousness to stand up for what's right, whether it's discrimination, sexism, racism, all that garbage. There's enough people that stand up and say that's wrong. I applaud the late Arnold Palmer. Just your thoughts on Palmer, and I'll let you close it out, Big C.
Well, Charlton, you know, we celebrated the life of the great Arnold Palmer. But I also want to celebrate, this is the 50th anniversary of the integration of SEC football.
Yeah.
People think it started with Alabama. It didn't. It started with the University of Kentucky in 1966 when 4 young black athletes got scholarships to play at the University of Kentucky. The SEC had been an all-white conference up to that point.
Yeah.
These players came in and made an impact through racial injustice, threats of their lives, and everything else. When you talk about the power of humankind to withstand all of what they withstood and still be able to get an education, Charlton.
Yeah.
That's what sports is all about. What they did as trailblazers is that they paved the way for so many other African-American athletes who are revered now on Saturday in the SEC. When you look at Saturday in the SEC and throughout college football, Charlton, that is the day without racism in America.
Yeah.
Because so many African-American athletes are playing on these campuses nationwide now, Charlton, but still the crowds are predominantly white.
Yeah.
It is a time in America where whites cheer for African-Americans.
Yeah.
That they think that they're the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Yeah.
If you can cheer for them as athletes, appreciate them in society.
Yeah.
Share what you feel on the playing surface when they're performing. Share that in the job market, in the equality market, Charlton, and the human respect market.
Big C, I tell you, there's nothing like intelligent people. I love hearing you speak, and I love bringing it to everybody every Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Charlton and Big C Sports. We are the hottest show in the universe, according to Big C and his good old boy Stan South. I trust you. There's no hanging chads, Big C. And I want to tell everyone, there's no room for domestic violence. No toleration. No one should be exposed to that type of behavior. If you know any woman in trouble, please call 911 and keep our women safe. As we want to say every Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time worldwide, follow Charlton and Big C Sports. We want to keep it real, and we also want to tell you we thank you, we appreciate you, and you have a super fantastic day.